So, we're a couple of weeks out after Comic-Con 2022, during which Marvel announced a bunch of their slate coming up until 2025. And after looking at the amount of stuff that they are bringing out, I really have to say, I'm tired. There's been a lot of discussion about Marvel taking a quantity over quality approach as of late, and I kind of agree. I don't think this is Marvel's fault. I think this is much more an issue because of Disney Plus, because Disney want to push to get as much content on there as possible, as quickly as possible, and Marvel and Star Wars are going to be the heavy hitters that they're going to try and push out for it. Because of Disney's approach in terms of wanting to have a new episode of something on there every week, I think this has kind of led to the MCU becoming a bit unfocused. Not through any fault of their own, and the projects that they're doing are fine for the most part, but there's not a solid through line of everything. So basically what I want to talk about in this video is I want to try and focus up the MCU for phases 4 and 5. Just basically as if I had the Infinity Gauntlet and get rid of some projects there. I don't think that anything they're planning shouldn't be made, but I think that they need to stagger it out a bit. I think that's their biggest problem here. Alright, so let's just take a quick look at Phase 4 and what we've got in it so far. So they announced in Comic-Con that they are ending Phase 4 with Black Panther 2, which should be Wakanda Forever, but this is obviously an old thing that I'm using. So there's been quite a lot of stuff released just in the space of, what, a year and a half? Just over a year and a half? 2 years, if you really want to stretch it. So let's change it and get rid of some stuff. Okay, so here's what I'd get rid of. First off, the Eternals. Not a greatly well-received movie. People didn't really enjoy it. I kind of like it because I think it's just like a weird discount Justice League movie. You got like a Superman and Flash fight, and you know, it's a jolly old romp that goes on for way too long. It's like almost 3 hours and definitely a long movie, which I probably will not watch again. But I think this kind of threw a spanner in the works for where they were going with everything. So Eternals kind of put Celestials at the forefront of what was coming, and I think a lot of people took that on board as like, okay, this is where it's going. You know, the Eternals are gonna, I keep on saying the Eternals, it's just Eternals. They're going to lead the charge against the Celestials, and it's going to be a big mission, and everyone's going to fight them, and it's going to be crazy. In reality, it's just, hey, here's some Celestials. Oh, there's one sticking out of the earth. Cool. And that was it. I think that's kind of what, like, pulled out the magnifying glass, so to speak, and just unfocused everything a little bit. That people were kind of going, oh, but where is it going? Whereas you got stuff like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, which, you know, lends to multiverse stuff. And then a lot of other projects in Phase 4 are kind of handing over of reins or characters meeting other versions of themselves. So, you know, yeah, I think getting rid of Eternals kind of would have focused it up a little bit more. The next one I have here, and this is purely because I do not like this movie, is Thor: Love and Thunder. So this came out. This isn't too long out. Like, this is out at least a couple of weeks. I think it got pushed to post. I don't remember when it came out. And I've had some time to stew on this movie and think about it and consider it. And I hate this movie so much. This one is purely just like, this is a personal vendetta I have against Thor: Love and Thunder. I genuinely think it's the worst movie in the MCU. And I will fight anyone who disagrees with that, because it is just it doesn't do anything correctly. I think that, oh God, just thinking about it annoys me, because it's a movie where they could have handed over the reins of Thor. Like, they could have handed it off to the mighty Thor for a movie or two, or they could have, I don't know, they could have done anything different from what they did, And the movie sucks, and it does not do anything for the MCU, like, overall, and it ruins Thor's character, and it's bad, and it shouldn't have been made, and I hate it, and I'll fight anyone who disagrees. Just no. Get rid of it. Waste of my time. Wasted 2 hours of my time. I don't think there's anything that they've done that necessarily shouldn't be made, except for Thor Love and Thunder. My God, get that movie out of here. But I think Moon Knight would benefit much greater to be pushed to another phase that would focus on the supernatural side of the MCU. If you were to push Moon Knight and introduce him around the same time as Ghost Rider and a little bit closer to Blade, I think it would be a lot stronger into maybe working into a Midnight Suns movie, or just having an overall supernatural phase to the MCU might give it much more of a grounding in the universe. As opposed to at the moment where Oscar Isaac has done the series and they haven't announced a season 2, and it's just kind of this one-off at the moment. And I think that's a little bit of a waste, because you could either put Moon Knight as a supernatural character in the MCU, or you could put him as just this brutal street-level hero. So yeah, this isn't something that I don't think shouldn't have been made, but it would be a lot stronger to be pushed down the line and to not have as much content being pushed out by Marvel and Disney. The next one I've got is I Am Groot. I don't want to see a series about I Am Groot. It's great for kids, but it's a bunch of animated shorts. It's like those you get those Disney stories where it's like, oh, a scary Toy Story, or ooh, I don't know what else, a Frozen holiday featuring Olaf or some whatever. Just kind of feels very, very kiddie, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I think given that there's so much stuff already in this phase, I just cut it. Just get rid of it. I think you could get rid of Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special, but given that it's James Gunn, and James Gunn is pretty consistent in what he's doing in terms of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, 2, Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, I think the holiday special could be kind of fun. But again, this is something like I Am Groot, where it could be pushed to the side. But just because James Gunn is actually involved in the holiday special, I'm kind of willing to leave it there. That's I could take it or leave it. You know what? I'll put an X over it just to really cut the legs out from under this phase. I'll throw another one there. Yeah, screw it. Throw it, get rid of it. No, I don't want it. Get out of here. Yuck. Yuck, I say. So, phase 4, we're cutting out what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 projects to be cut out. And I think that focuses up things a little bit better. You kind of have a theme running through where it's either a handing off of a mantle, or it's a multiverse movie or TV show. So I think that kind of works in keeping a little bit more of a specific theme in phase 4. Okay, so here we got phase 5. Everything that's coming out, I think I have it correct here. If I missed something, whatever, but we got the guts of it here. So let's try and trim some of the fat off this. Secret Invasion, like, that storyline could get a whole phase by itself. I don't get why they're just relegating it to a Disney Plus show. It just does not sit right with me. You could spend so many movies, so many TV shows building up Secret Invasion, literally just sowing mistrust between everyone in the MCU, and it just to give Sam Jackson a series, I don't think it's a great idea to do that. And I think that's something that they're kind of doing lately, especially with Thor Love and Thunder, which I hate, where they're almost packing, they're kind of rushing to get some of these stories out. And I think it would benefit a lot greater to slow down and say, okay, let's spend a phase on Secret Invasion. Let's spend a phase building up the Thunderbolts. Let's spend a phase building up to, I don't know, Midnight Suns. Did I say Midnight Suns already? Whatever. You get the idea. And I just think this could be a massive waste and could be used in an entirely different phase to a much greater effect. Okay, so the next thing I've caught here is Echo. They've shown up in Hawkeye, and it's no disrespect to the actor. And no, like, I don't know much about the character, but there wasn't anything to that character that made me go, yes, let me see like a whole series about this person. Like, the main, you look at anything online, the main source of hype for this is the potential of seeing Wilson Fisk and Daredevil in it again. And just, I think they're just setting this one up for failure. And I don't agree with it. It's just, I think it's such an odd choice. By all means, you can explore the character, but I think it would have been a much stronger choice to have the character show up in Daredevil first in his series and then spin off Echo into their own series. So this one's controversial, I think. The next one that I would cut is IronHeart. I think this character is important to be represented, and I think it's important for them to show up at some point. But I think that this announcement of Phase 5 stuff is a little odd in that a lot of it is characters showing up in one thing to just be spun off immediately into another. And I think you could get a much stronger groundswell for IronHeart to have them appear in Black Panther, and then to go to Armor Wars to work with War Machine. And that would also create kind of a closer bond between the character of Riri Williams and Tony Stark. And I think that might create a stronger grounding for the character to get kind of something that's a little closer to her comic book origin. Also, it's a bit strange because obviously Iron Man and Ironheart and War Machine are characters that are very CG heavy, like, you know, between the armor and all the fidelity of the bits and pieces needed for it. And I just don't think it would do very well as a Disney Plus series. I think this would probably be better as a movie. And it's just, it's an odd choice, I think, especially for this to take priority over Armor Wars. I think Armor Wars is a much cooler story to tell at this point, considering Tony Stark has died. The last one makes just as much sense as Echo. It's a character that showed up, you know, I know that Agatha Harkness had a much greater presence in WandaVision than Echo did in Hawkeye. But who was demanding for Agatha Harkness to get her own series? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The only reason that I could see this being explored is to possibly explore witchcraft in the MCU a lot further, which by rights should be the Scarlet Witch's job, but anyway, I think that there's potential for that there. But again, this kind of goes back to the Moon Knight thing, where I think you could literally build up a whole series of movies in a supernatural phase of the MCU. It's such an odd choice. And again, kind of something in Phase 5 that is just, oh, we have this character once, give them their own series. It's highly unusual. And yeah, not a fan of it. I honestly can't say I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, so that cuts it down from 12 movies and TV shows to 8 properties coming out. So, what, 6 movies? 2 series? So, this phase would be a lot lighter on the Disney Plus stuff, so it would never get done. Because I've literally got all the Disney Plus stuff here, but yeah, it's just, it's so strange the way that they're taking the MCU now. I can see the Disney Plus issue being a greater issue for Phase 5 than it is Phase 4. At least with Phase 4, we had what? We had WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, Hawkeye, She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel. All kind of well-established characters, whereas the characters for Phase 5 for Disney Plus are Echo and Agatha. IronHeart is obviously is a character in their own right, but they still haven't gotten as much play as some of the other characters in Phase 4. And then Secret Invasion, this whole massive storyline just being rushed out in one series. It's really strange. The crux of what I'm trying to say here is I think they need to be careful in what they're doing. It seems like a lot of people are kind of burning out in the MCU, myself included. They gotta cool their jets a little on some of this stuff, because it's rushing a lot of storytelling that would benefit from a much slower burn. And I think that's kind of the advantage of the first 3 phases that they did. It was such a slow burn, but such a strong build up at the same time. Whereas this feels very scattershot by comparison. They're also kind of doing something where every character needs to build up to an Avenger level character, which is really strange to me. This was kind of a problem I had with Shang-Chi when it came out, that he could be an amazing street level character, but they gave him the rings of the Mandarin so then he can stand side by side with the rest of the Avengers. And it's just I think that's an odd trade to make, and it's just kind of weird to have all these characters have to be amped up to stand side by side with a Thor, with a Captain Marvel, with whoever else they add to the Avengers roster. I think that they should really start separating stuff out and, like I say, make a weird supernatural phase. Make a phase where you build up to the Thunderbolts. You could have the Thunderbolts as the culmination of a phase and just work up to it with the respective characters, even though it's a little bit difficult because they're villains, but whatever. You could build up to a Heroes for Hire culmination movie, a Young Avengers or a Champions movie, a Secret Invasion movie. It's just, it's odd. And it just feels very shotgunned and not as well thought out. And I think these changes I've made here would help focus it up a bit. But again, this is just wishful thinking. I'm just speculating and just... Frankly, I'm talking out my ass a little bit, because I greatly enjoy the MCU. I've been watching it since the start. But, man, it's kind of taken a toll in terms of the stuff they're putting out. Yeah, I just think they need to tighten up the screws a bit and slow it all down. Just, there's enough content here for 6, 7, 8 years worth of movies and TV shows, and they're just pushing out so much in the space of 4 to 5 years. And it's unfortunate, because I think people are going to get sick of it. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, thank you very much for watching, guys. By all means, please leave a like and a comment and all that good stuff, and subscribe. I'll put something somewhere. Woo! And yeah, let me know your opinions on the MCU. If you think my little ideas here help focus it up, then Kevin Feige, hire me, please. But yeah, I'm going to shut up now. So, thanks for watching, guys, and have a good day wherever you are. See ya.